Hello, quality people. Welcome to another quality episode of Faith and Beyond. Today, I have a special guest with me, Mirakle Monique. Hello. But before we get into today's video, make sure you like for the algorithm. Before we get into your testimony, can you tell us a little bit about you and who you are?
Ooh. Such a loaded question. Okay. I'm Mirakle, first of all. I guess there are a lot of things that encompass who I am. I'm very introspective, intuitive. I have a love of writing and storytelling and basically exploring different realms of what we're currently living in, like our reality and culture and things of that nature. And especially when it comes to my faith and everything. That's led me to a lot of different paths in life, just being that I've always been pretty curious and just trying to understand the world that I live in. It's come down to just knowing where my walk with Christ has been. And so, that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. For getting to specifics, my career path has led me to, of course, more writing and mainly marketing, mm-hmm. and really just connecting with people on that level. I really enjoy connecting with people. I really enjoy just understanding what makes other people tick and why they do the things that they do. And so that kind of led me down that path of like not only telling stories, but telling other people's stories. Mm-hmm. And so.
Nice. Yeah. Have you always been like that, or was there a time period where it just kind of clicked?
I've pretty much always been this way. I mean, there are times where it's maybe turned on and off, but those are times when I really wasn't being myself. Mm-hmm. And I was in those places for quite a long time. But I've been this way since as far back as I can remember, like 3-4 years old, writing little stories on paper and stapling it together and mm-hmm. stuff like that. And so I've always been a people person. I've always been pretty out there in terms of who I am. And so, yeah.
Cool. I like how you touched on there were times where you weren't really yourself, which we're going to get into. So stay tuned for that. But before we get there, can you share your testimony with us?
Oh, I have to get used to doing this because this is really important. But, so I grew up in the church. My walk with God was one where, you have a friend for a long time that maybe you don't call every day and you kind of hit them up sometimes. That was pretty much me for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so growing up in the church, I've always had that basic surface level understanding of who God is. I know there's a God. I know he's my creator. I know Jesus died for our sins. I know John 3:16, Philippians 4:13, the basic things that almost every Christian would know growing up. I know, God saves you and things like that, but didn't really grasp the understanding of that until I got much older and started experiencing more situations, experiencing more feelings and emotions that were very new to me. And so that kind of came over time, and just me trying to understand like the world I live in and how I fit into that dynamic. It was very challenging for me as far as my walk with God, because I didn't really know what that looked or felt like, and I didn't really know how to cultivate that. Sure, I would go to church every Sunday and I would learn, and I would do the thing that church kids do. I would be there, and but of course, as you get older and stuff, you start trying to understand how real those things are. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I was mainly trying to do growing up. And so I dabbled into a lot of different things, a lot of different philosophies of trying to understand and figure out who I was and where I am and what that looks like. And ultimately that led me right back to God, even though I strayed so far at some points, at many points,
Mm-hmm.
and leading me down to really just trying to get back to the source and the foundation of what my life is. And it always came down to that, even when I was in the midst of feeling these different things that were just new, like whether it was maybe lust or getting into new age, or lying for the first couple times and realizing how easy it is, and or just different things, or anger, and acting out in anger, things like that, and not really understanding why I'm feeling those ways, or what they really mean. And so again, it really just brought me right back to God, because as I got older, I realized I couldn't do any of this without understanding who He was and who He made me to be. And that was mainly what it was coming down to. A lot of people, try to fill that void as they're growing up, especially as a teenager, And so I realized that's what I was trying to do, but I was trying to do it with other things and not with God. And I realized that was making me feel really empty inside. And I didn't know that until it got to the point where it was like I was breaking down, crying in the shower, And so now I'm at a point now where it's kind of like I have that peace that goes beyond all understanding. And so just understanding like what that really means now, it brings so much light to my life. And all I want to do now is share that with other people who have been through those same things that I've been through. So
Nice. So you grew up in the church,
Yeah.
and you said you went to like Bible study, all the lessons, all that kind of stuff. So I guess this is like a selfish personal question, but so I teach Bible study to like younger kids, like middle school, high school.
You do?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Aw.
So I guess my question would be, what's the best way to prepare them so they don't have to go through, let me go find out for myself, let me figure it out for myself kind of thing. Like, was there anything that you think could have gone better growing up in the church besides just the lessons?
Oh, that's a good question. So growing up in the church, I loved all of my youth leaders and youth pastors growing up. I just did. And I think it was because they reached our level, and they tried to reach our level, and they weren't dismissing us because we were young, or dismissing our questions as like, oh, they're just, ignorant because they're kids or whatever. No, they would take the time to actually be direct with us about what things meant. They would take the time to answer the questions that we had, because as a kid, as a teenager, you have questions about the world, because new things are happening and you don't understand what all of it means, and so you do need that guidance. And so just being there as a listening ear, and also as that guide to really push forward the truth, and just continuing to instill that. I heard repetition is like really good for growing kids and growing teenagers, and I think that's really incredibly true, because a lot of things that I was taught during that time, they continuously instilled in us, in all the kids that were in Bible study at the time. That was my favorite part about going to church, actually, was going to Bible study, because I got to be with the youth leaders and everything. And so yeah, honestly, repetition, being direct, not being afraid to answer any questions that they have. Those are the things that I remember that they all did for us. And so I think that really helped with the foundation of my relationship with God that I have now.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we've gone over your testimony, I do want to ask you a little bit about A Conscious Outlet, because for those that don't know, Mirakle is the co-host of A Conscious Outlet. So can you go into what's that all about and the purpose behind it?
Absolutely. Yes. So, yes, I am the co-host of the Conscious Outlet podcast. My other co-host isn't here right now. His name is Alan J. And basically, we're trying to explore the intersection of media, culture, and faith, and how it relates to the lives that we're living today. And we're going to be talking about different themes that kind of just touch on practical ways that we can go about living our lives as it relates to the culture we live in now. And so that we're able to kind of dive deeper into those things and actually pull out practical solutions that we can walk away with and do in our daily lives, and even scriptures that follow with that, so that we're able to consciously give you the secret sauce, which is the word. So yeah, I'm excited about that. We've rebooted a couple times, but now it's kind of like being with Quality Entertainment. Now we're officially back, and we're so excited. And I'm excited for the changes that we're doing, and really just refining our approach and refining our messaging. And yeah, it's great. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We're excited too. Like, I think it's going to be a perfect match, just because we have similar goals. Where
yes,
in terms of having practical religion and being very intentional with our relationship with God. So yeah,
that's why I knew this was perfect.
Yes. So I'm excited about that.